Hey, family, God bless you. Welcome to Bible Nuggets with Pastor Bob and Sonia Rice. We're glad to have you here today. I know that every time we open up God's Word, we're going to learn something and we're going to dig and mine for those nuggets. We do it in such a way, we go verse by verse and expose the text, and we allow for God to serendipitously guide us through His Word and to mine those nuggets. The first lesson of the day is to take this, your index finger. This is God's smashing tool. Smash the subscribe button. Smash the like button if you're blessed, and smash the notification bell, that it might help us to get this gospel out to more and more people. God bless you, and let's go forth with Bible Nuggets. We're going to continue down through the scripture. We'll start back at verse 3.
Okay, Genesis 1, verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
And God said, "Let there be light."
Mm-hmm.
And there was light.
Mm-hmm.
God saw that the light was good,
Okay.
and He separated the light from the darkness.
Okay. So there's light, okay, and then there is the absence of light, okay, and there is no such thing as there's no entity that is darkness, okay. Light is electromagnetic radiation. It is particular photons, okay, and it waves. Okay, it has specific characteristics. It moves at the speed of light. There are various wavelengths of visible and invisible light. That it is physical. It has weight. Light has weight and mass. Okay, darkness does not. Okay, darkness is not an entity. Darkness is a phenomenon. Okay. That occurs because of the absence of the presence of electromagnetic radiation.
Wow.
Okay, so it is not a thing, it is an absence of a thing. Okay, and God separates light from darkness, and He calls the light day and the darkness light, because obviously not because of the position of the sun and all that. So yeah, it is the absence of the sun's effect. Okay. Okay, go ahead. And by the way, the funny thing is that some places in the world, in summer, the sun never goes down, so it's always bright outside, 24 hours a day. They call Alaska the land of the midnight sun. And but also in the wintertime, it's dark 24 hours a day as well. And for seasons, and people they get the blues during that time because light is important to our emotional well-being. But in most of the world, there is that separation of light and darkness.
Okay. God called the light day. This is verse 5. God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And there was evening, and there was morning the first day.
Okay, and that's how days are calculated in the Old Testament, in Jewish custom, because of this Genesis account. That we think of a day in terms of a day AM, okay, and night PM. But for instance, for the Jews, the Sabbath starts in the evening on Friday.
Okay.
Okay, that's when the day begins, at the evening of the day that you're in. Okay,
The day begins?
right. So we're recording this on the 7th. Okay, the 8th starts at sunset. Okay, so it's the evening and the morning is the first day. So the Sabbath goes from Friday evening, okay, until Saturday evening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's from sundown to sundown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, it says there was evening and there was morning, and that was the first day.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so verse 6. And God said, let there be a vault between the waters to separate the waters from the waters.
Okay, now this is very interesting and kind of hard to understand because we don't have a current analogy for it. In the pre-flood days,
Okay.
before the flood of Noah,
Mm-hmm.
okay, the water table, the water cycle, and the atmosphere, okay, was different than we currently experience today.
Okay.
Okay, there was a firmament, a space. Okay, that's what firmament means. Okay, there's an expanse, a space.
And it said vault here in this version.
Right,
Same thing as firmament.
or
Okay.
vault, right.
Mhm.
And what it means is a vault is there was a barrier.
Okay.
That's what it means, a vault, a barrier,
Mhm.
and water was on top of this barrier.
Mhm.
Okay, and it could have been miles deep of
Mhm.
water, okay, above the earth, and something was holding it back.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
we don't know what it was. We don't have that level of detail.
Mhm.
Okay, but it didn't rain. Okay,
Mhm.
before the flood. Okay, and the waters were held back by this vault.
Mhm.
Okay, and there were also a vault under the earth.
Mhm.
Okay, and there was a massive sea. Okay, under pressure below the earth as well.
Mhm.
Okay, and it probably moved with the tides.
Mhm.
Okay, underneath the earth. Okay, as the moon goes away from the earth and comes closer to the earth. Okay, and in between you had what was known as the atmosphere of their day. Okay, we don't know how bright it was, but we do have evidence that the oxygen content was much higher on the earth at that time to support the larger animals. Like, for instance, a dinosaur could not live on earth today because it wouldn't be able to breathe with the current oxygen concentration that's on the earth today. Okay, it would not support a neck that long, and so they wouldn't be able to survive in today's atmosphere. So it was an oxygen-rich atmosphere, and things grew larger than they grow today. We have fossils of huge dragonflies this big.
Dragonflies.
Yeah, dragonflies this big, and creatures just grew longer and they lived longer. Everything lived longer in this environment. Things were stronger in this environment, and the lizards, the reptiles, will grow as long as they live. So if you have a lizard that lives to be hundreds of years old in an oxygen-rich environment with plenty of food to eat, okay, he's going to always grow. So they grew into these massive species that were probably destroyed not long after the flood, or because they probably went into the boat with all the other creatures in infant form, and man lived with the dinosaurs.
Wow.
Okay, they were there in the garden with Adam, with a lot of other extinct species, and species that have taken different characteristics now through time and through generations, and man himself was much stronger and much smarter than he was today. And it's the she just asked me how you know. You just kind of whispered that to me.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's because we know that we only use a small portion of our brain's capacity. God didn't create anything to be on not to be at maximum capacity.
Okay.
Okay, so Adam most likely had full capacity of his brain. Okay, so he was probably much smarter than we were, or as well. Just the fact that he could, we have no record that he had invented. Adam invented writing yet. And he could name all the animals, and there were many more species than we have today. And he was able to name them and remember those names without a paper or pencil, without a computer, without anything. And so
we can't do that
I couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. Okay, it's just it would take us a long time, and we probably named the rat 6 different things before that thing was over. But Adam was extraordinarily intelligent, and we in the fall our mental capacity has been retarded significantly.
Isn't that how sometimes you explain savants? Is that
Yeah. There's something that gets unlocked with people, and they can just sit down to a piano, never had lessons, and just play something that they've heard, beautiful, complicated music, with no practice, they can just sit down and just do whatever they hear, and that's just or they can do mathematics in their head, just boom, they can calculate and various things like that. And then, but they don't have skills to do some of the basic things that we do in life. And so that's just a hint. The fact that, that Eve could talk to a snake. And that snake can talk to Eve, and that wasn't weird. Okay, so a snake walks up to you, okay, and begins talking. Okay, you're gonna be like headed in the other direction. You're probably with as most velocity as you could muster. And but that was not strange to her, because she probably talked to all the animals. They had dominion over them, and so they could probably communicate with them. And so that was another capacity that we see them having, that we don't have today.
Wow. You got me to go on?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so Genesis chapter 1, verse 6. God said, "Let there be a vault between the waters to separate the waters from the waters." In verse 7. So God made the vault and separated the water under the vault from the water above it. And it was so.
Okay, so you have underground vault, you have the upper vault, and you got everything in between it. That was man's space that he occupied and could see and function within. And by the way, and we'll get to this later as we get into to the flood, that it just didn't rain. These vaults were broken. Okay, and that's what it says. And so the firmament, or the vault, okay, it was broken, and so those miles of water, okay, stormed down, okay, and some of it probably froze, and boulders of ice, sheets of ice and water, depending on where you were, just spilled down, and if you can imagine, hail the size of cars, exploding on the ground, and destroying everything, destroying the trees, destroying, just everything in its path. And then you had this lower vault that busted up with extreme power, casting rocks and mountains. Mountains into outer space. Okay, into outer space. Okay, and it's believed, and this is called the Hydroplate Theory.
Okay,
it's believed that that those things that got exploded into outer space, big and small, they return to us as meteors, and asteroids, and comets. These things in our galaxy that are going around the sun with us came from the Earth, and are now part of our solar system. And so this was the continents broke up. Okay, the world probably was one big continent that scientists call Pangea, and it was at that time the continent split, and it didn't take millions and billions of years for the continental drifts to happen. They drifted apart in a matter of months, okay, to their current location and stopped. And that's what the large mountain chains and all those things were formed in days, not in millennia. Okay, they were formed quickly, cataclysmically, and as the earth resettled, many of the features that we see on the earth, including the Grand Canyon and other things, came from Great Lakes. All those things came as a result of this cataclysmic event. We see the scientists think that asteroids cause extinction events. Okay, all those extinction events can be explained by the Hydroplate Theory, and it was the flood of Noah, or the flood of God, where Noah was saved. It happened quickly during that period of time, and so there was Noah and previous generations just dealing with the aftermath of that and the earth resettling. It was an extraordinarily dangerous time to live in.
Wow. There's a video about the Hydroplate Theory. We'll put in a description there.
Yes, it's very interesting. It does a better job of explaining many of Earth's features better than the current scientific consensus. See, the current scientific consensus requires billions of years for this to happen. You may ask the question, well, what about carbon dating? And so we have carbon dates of rocks that are millions and billions of years old. Well, it's because, as we see, God created things in their mature state. Okay. He created animals and trees and all those things. He didn't just create seeds.
And even
Adam and Eve. He created them as adults, and so he created the earth with aged rocks, okay, already in place. And carbon dating is a whole nother subject. It's not as reliable, the dating methods that we have, as we would think that they have, on the other hand. But they kind of play into the game of evolution. Evolution, I believe, it's a game. It is a falsehood that is propagated by people who, whether knowingly or unknowingly, have an agenda, okay, an anti-God agenda, and they maintain power, okay. They can't admit that God created everything. They know, okay. I mean, real scientists who really study this stuff, they know that evolution is impossible. Okay, but they don't have an alternative yet. So you'll hear things of the Earth was seeded by aliens. Okay, you have certain alien theories, and there are shows on TV that deal with that. It is just
a new Noah. There was a Noah movie that brought in aliens, the rock men or something like that. The aliens,
the Watchers.
No, rock. They were rock men.
Okay, yeah, I don't recall that, but but it's funny that the scientific world, with no evidence, if you were to ask scientists, do you really believe? I know you don't know, but you kind of believe that there's life on other Earth, and because you believe in evolution, and because the universe is so big, and if things happen here by random chance events, they probably happened somewhere else
Mhm.
too. So logically, they would tend to believe that there's life on other planets, but we have absolutely no evidence of such things. But they believe,
Mhm.
but they can't seem to use that same type of belief where you have more evidence of creation,
Mhm.
okay, than you do of aliens,
Mhm.
okay, and but the reality is there are aliens. I believe that there are aliens, and the Bible calls them demons.
Mhm.
Okay, he calls them angels.
Mhm.
They are alien to this world,
Mhm.
and they can manifest themselves in ways beyond our technologies. So if one day you say the aliens landed, okay, it's not going to rock my world because I already know there are aliens and that they have interactions with men. Yeah. Yeah. Well, family, I trust you are blessed. That was a lot of fun. God bless you all. Remember to take that finger and smash the subscribe button, notification bell. And if you liked it, smash like. You didn't have to love it. Just if you liked it, just hit that like button so that we can spread this message all around the world. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.